Hi there, welcome to Camping Secrets. I'm Marky Mark. Last year I conducted this experiment whereby I used a Jackery 2000 Pro power station, and my idea was to solar charge it, take it upstairs, use it as my home office, and then charge it again in the afternoon to try and keep it topped up and see how long I could do it for. The experiment didn't work very well because the British summer is so variable and you cannot guarantee decent sunshine. I want to repeat the experiment today and maybe for a few days this week and just see if there's an alternative way of doing it. One clever person in the comments on the previous video said I should just leave the power station outside all the time, continuously charging, and then just simply run an extension lead up to my office rather than moving the power station up and down. That's what I want to do today. So I'm going to get the power station set up with up to 1.2 kilowatts of solar. That is a lot of solar, but I want to get as much as I can. And then I'm going to maybe reduce the amount of solar to see what's the minimum amount of solar that I can get a full day's work up in my home office with a computer and a monitor, and basically keep the power station topped up over time. Let's dig into this. So these are the Solar Saga 200 watt panels from Jackery, portable panels, and you can put up to 6 of them in series and parallel into the power station for 1.2 kilowatts. I think I'm going to start with 4 panels, so a maximum of 800 watts today, and see if that does the job. So this is the power station I'm going to use today. It's the Jackery 2000 Pro. So this power station uses the older type of high energy density batteries, the lithium NMC, nickel, manganese, cobalt. It's not the newer type of battery, the lithium iron phosphate type. As a result, it doesn't have as many recharge, discharge cycles possible as the newer models. So for this kind of all day charging, all day draining application, it's probably not ideal. It may shorten the lifetime, but for an experiment for a day or two, it's probably okay. So we're at 440 watts-ish and 53% charge. I'm just going to play with the panels and see if I can improve that. Up to 560 watts now, after a tweak. Just going to cover the power station up. So 560 watts. Just to stop it getting hot in the sun. Alright, time to connect the extension lead. So the power station's charging. I'm going to connect an extension lead from my home office up there down to the power station. I need to go up and drop this down. Okay, let's go and plug this into the Jackery. Okay, we're at the Jackery now. We've got 569 watts going in. It's saying it'll be charged in 1.9 hours at this rate. I've got my plug to my extension cable and I've activated the AC here. So we've got power coming in and we're going to take power out for my home office. And we're just going to leave this here all day. So I think we're ready to roll now. We've got the 4 solar panels here. They're generating about 560 watts with sunshine at the moment. And then all 4 are going into the Jackery. And then at the same time I've run an extension cable out of the Jackery up to my home office. Where I'm going to plug in my computer and my monitor. Then the idea today is to see can I stay at about level or even increase the power stored capacity on the Jackery over time? It will be charging all day if the sun shines like this. It's absolutely sweltering. Now, of course, as the sun moves in the sky, I will need to reorientate the panels, but I want to do that as little as possible. I don't mind the power dropping a little bit, but I think every hour or so I may come out and just turn the panels towards the sun. It'll give me a break and a chance to make a cup of tea, which I might be able to make on the Jackery. Anyway, the aim here is to see, on days like this, can you be self-sufficient for your home office? Obviously it's not going to power the whole house, but can it power the whole home office? Right, let's go up. It's time to start work, 9 AM. Let's get my computer and my monitor plugged into the extension cable. See you up there. So here we can see the extension cable going out of the window, and I'll show you it going along the patio. So you just see out there the extension cable going towards the solar panels and the Jackery. Well, I apologise for all the mess, that's my natural state of being. I've got the extension cable here, and I am just going to transfer my plug for all of this stuff onto the Jackery. So everything's gone off, so I'll just plug this in here. That's come back on, and let's start things up. Screen on. Now, the computer and the monitors together probably only take about 200 watts, and at the moment we're generating 550 watts. So we should be able to still use all this equipment and still charge up the Jackery. That is the aim. It would be brilliant if we could get to 100% on the Jackery and still do the full day's work. And for me, that would be a very successful outcome. Right, I'm going to start some work. I will go back out and readjust in about an hour or so, and I'll film that when I do it. And we can check what percentage the Jackery is on. Remember, it's on about 53-54% of total capacity at the moment. If it's gone up while we've done work, I think that is positive. If it's gone down, then I don't know what we do. Maybe put in some more solar panels. All right, see you later. So I've just quickly come back outside just to see how much the computer and monitor is drawing. So we can see that clearly on the Jackery. Let's have a look. Turn the display on. So look at that, we're generating 590 watts, but my computer and two monitors is only using 102 watts. So that means we've got a surplus of energy coming in, and the total capacity of the battery has gone up considerably. And this is only in about 20 to 30 minutes since I started. So it seems to me that I can basically, hopefully, if the sun continues, run all day and my home office and still fill up the Jackery. That would be incredible. Now remember, the laptop's got its own battery, so in a way it may be using some of that juice, but either way this is really good. So it's about 11 AM now, and the sun has moved around a little bit in the sky. So I think it's time for a little readjustment of the panels to try and maximize that input power. So let's go and have a look on the Jackery, see how much power is going in. It was about 560 watts before. My guess is it's dropped a little bit, and then we'll try and regain that. The sun is still really, really bright today. I won't believe it, but actually the power's gone up in that time. We're up to 630 watts now with just those 4 panels. And we're still only drawing about 80 watts out from my computer and monitor, maybe 95. And you can see that we're up to 91%. So we're nearly fully charged that Jackery. This is incredible. Free energy. I can hear the fans going. You may be able to hear that. It is quite hot out here, but I've got the Jackery under this table, and it doesn't feel like it's getting too hot. But yeah, the fans are still running. It's a very quiet unit, actually, the Jackery. So at the moment, there's no real need to readjust the panels. We're getting a really good 630 watts into the Jackery, and we're up at 91%. So that Jackery is charging. It's going up in capacity even while we're using energy for the home office. So with this kind of sunshine, it's just a really efficient way of generating electricity. The question is, how long will this sort of piercing sunshine last? Beautiful blue skies today. So I'm hoping we can do this all day. And actually, I may be able to draw more out of that Jackery than I'm using at the moment. So perhaps I'll try boiling a kettle or something on it. Let's just go and do it. Back in the house now, got the kettle. Let's get a bit of water in there. Always time for a brew in the UK. Let's go out to the garden and see if we can boil this kettle. It's about 2.5 kilowatts. And actually, I can't remember the power output of the Jackery 2000 Pro. It may not run this, but let's give it a go. It's gonna eat into my stored capacity, but I think it's worth it because we're gonna be almost at 100% soon. Okay, so let's plug the kettle into the Jackery, get the display on. So we're at 631 watts, 93%. Let's put this kettle on. Oh, we're up at 2.8 kilowatts now. Kettle is boiling. Listen to that. Wow, Jackery is really going for it. Oh, it's tripped. It couldn't do that power for that long. That's a real shame. Nearly boiled. So sadly that big kettle tripped out the Jackery. So I'm gonna use our travel kettle instead. Where do we keep it? I can't remember. Aha. Here we go. Whoop. So this is the kettle we use at campsites. It's only 1,000 watts. So the other one was about 2.6 kilowatts. So I should be able to easily boil the water with this kettle. So let's put the water from this kettle into the lower power one. Oop. And go back outside. What a day, absolutely stunning. If only they were all like this. All right, back down to the Jackery. Let's plug this kettle now in. So we're still at 630. The output has tripped. Oh, so my computer may have gone off. So the output had tripped from the previous, so maybe my monitor turned off. Okay, so this new kettle now is much lower power, 1.1 kilowatts. We're at 95%. So this kettle is obviously lower power rated, only 1 kilowatt. So it'll be much slower to boil the water, probably about 2 to 3 times slower. That doesn't matter, more time for sunbathing. Kettle's nearly boiled now. We're still at 94%, so it's hardly dented it at all, the capacity. Wow, fantastic. Kettle's boiled. And we're back to normal operation. Freshly boiled water, cup of tea from solar power. Still a really good sun. We're 12:30 now, so the sun must have moved across. Let's go and check if it needs adjusting. So we are halfway through the day now. It's 12:30 p.m. and the sun has gone around the sky a little bit. It started off over here and now I can see it's over here. What that means is these solar panels are now in a non-optimum position. They're pointing the wrong way. So I'm going to rotate them around a little bit. But the thing is, the Jackery is now at 100%. And actually it's shut off all the solar input power. So for the amount of power I'm using with my home office, it doesn't really even need to top up the battery. So all this solar power now is going to waste. So really I need to put an extra load on the Jackery to actually make use of this sunshine, because at the moment it's going to waste. It's not even being stored on the Jackery. We're at 100%. So I'm going to rearrange the panels and then think about what else we can drive on the Jackery to use up a bit more power. It's free energy. So you can see now we're at 0 watts because we're at 100%. So my office is still using 94 watts, but the power, it doesn't need any charge. So the Jackery has just ramped down that input. So what we need to do is actually use some more power to make use of this lovely sunshine. So I'm in an interesting position now because we've got way too much sunlight for the Jackery. Basically it's at 100%, so all the light is going to waste on the solar panels. So we've got two options now. I could either remove some solar panels and see how many is the minimum solar panels I can live with for my home office with this kind of sunlight, or the alternative is we can draw more energy from the existing system instead of the 100 watts. So what I'm thinking now is I've got 4 panels and it's overkill. Why don't I charge up my 1000 plus at the same time? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop to 2 panels for the 2000 Pro, and then I'm going to have 2 panels for the 1000 plus. This is at 28%. I'm going to get that charged up. And then later on today, I think I'll drop down to 1 panel and just see if that's sustainable. The thing is, it's getting a bit more cloudy now. And so I think the available power on the panels is going to drop. So I was getting 600 watts with the 4. That's going to drop considerably with the clouds. So let's try and charge this one up and see how we get on. So we will be using these series connectors on the 2000 Pro, but we don't need that now because we're just going down to 2 panels on each. So we'll pull that out. I can use these 2 panels on the 2000 Pro. I'll just plug them in directly. But we'll still be at 100%. So it's likely that I won't be using that. And then these other 2, this one and this one, can plug into the 1000 plus. It's the same sort of connector on the back. Got a DC and a DC. 340 watts from 2 panels. Now it is in bright sunshine here, so I do want to cover it up somehow. If we look at the 2000 Pro, yeah, that one's still at 100%. So really, I need to start draining this one somehow. So I need to use some energy from this one. So I think it's time for another cup of tea with the 2000 Pro. Let's boil the kettle and try and get this battery down a bit, because the light is just going to waste at the moment. 1.1 kilowatts now being drawn from the kettle. So that should get it down to maybe 95%. So I need to think of something else that we can draw off here, because my home office isn't drawing enough. Even with 2 panels. Kettle's board now 95%, back down to the 80 watts of my home office. So we've now got solar coming in, 300 watts, so 150 watts per panel, which is more than enough. So 2000 Pro's back up to 99%, and the 1000 Plus is up to 53% from 29%. So it's charging nicely. So now I'm gonna add a bit more of a load onto this. We're gonna run my wife's home office as well. So just plugging that in down there. This cable goes through into the oven. So I've got this computer and monitor, and we'll unplug here and here. So it's now got the printer and great. So 2 home offices now being run off the Jackery, and let's see what that does to the percentage. Let's go and have a look. So it's still really sunny out here. Now that we've got 2 home offices running off the Jackery with only 2 panels, so it's about 300 watts. Let's look what the power draw is on the Jackery 2000 Pro. So we're up to 130 watts now, but we're still at 100%. So we'll see what happens. 150 watts. So that hopefully will start dropping this down below 100%. We could start using up some power. But basically, we can run 2 home offices very easily with 2 panels. We're still charging the 1000 Plus at 340 watts, and that's up to 71% now. So we should fully charge that in about an hour. So that'll be 2 power packs fully charged off today's solar. Very nice. So the Jackery 1000 Plus is still charging off 2 panels. It's up to about 82% now with about 300 watts going in. The 2000 Pro is at 100% still, and that's also running off 2 panels. So the combined power draw of 2 home offices is about 150 watts for me. So what I'm thinking now is I can drop down that 2000 Pro to just a single solar panel, because 2 panels is giving about 300 watts. So 1 panel will be about 150 watts, and that's about what I'm drawing. So in this bright sunshine, I think I can get by with 1 solar panel, and that should keep the 2000 Pro topped up close to 100%. So I'm going to drop out one of the panels now and see how we get on. Occasionally some clouds come over, and then the generated solar power does drop. So as time goes on, that's going to become more of an impact, in which case 2 panels is probably optimum. But let's drop it down to 1 and see what happens. So we're drawing 147 watts. Only generated 78 watts right now. That's because of the clouds. As the sun comes back, that's rocketing back up, about 200 watts now. And in the full sunlight, it should be about 300. So I'm going to drop one of those panels now. Let's just pull it out. Actually, I wanted to keep that one. Doesn't really matter, so let's keep that one. So now we're 125 watts from 1 panel, and we're drawing 137 watts. So down to 78. 52 watts. That's the cloud again. You can see the cloud up there covering the sun. So once that passes, this is the solar panel. So I'm gonna spin this round a little bit to face that sun. It's 29 watts. So when it's cloudy, the capacity is going to drop from 100% down because we're not keeping up with what we're drawing. But hopefully when the sun comes out from behind the cloud, we'll be about equal. So we should stay, you know, in the 90% range over the course of the day, I would hope. But let's see what happens. Okay, I've come to the end of my working day. It's 5:30 p.m. So I think it's time to go outside. The sun is still shining. And have a look at the Jackery. It's down to just using one solar panel now. And I want to see if the second power pack fully charged. If so, I think this has been a great success. And then I'll give you my verdict on this and when it works and when it doesn't. Well, it's still really sunny here. It's been an exceptionally sunny and hot day in the UK. So it's an abnormal day, let's just put it that way. Right, first off, let's get down and look at the second power pack I connected to two of these solar panels. So we are at 100% and we're input power has dropped to 0. So this power pack, this 1000 plus, I plugged that in later just because I was generating so much power. And then the 2000 Pro, this is just working on one solar panel now, the original, and we have dropped a little, 94%. And you can see this is just one solar panel. We've got 131 watts going in and we're using about 138. So because we're using a little bit more and the clouds go over occasionally, it has dropped, but not by much. We're still pretty good. Okay guys, as I said, it's 5:30 p.m. It's still really sunny, but I think I can give you my verdict for today. What have we looked at? Well, first of all, we used a Jackery 2000 Pro power station with 4 200-watt solar panels. And basically that was overkill for running my little home office, which consists of a laptop and 2 monitors and a sound card. That was drawing about 80 to 100 watts. But the 4 solar panels was generating in this bright sunshine about 600 watts. So it was almost 600% more wattage than I required. So as a result, I was able to work up there and charge up the Jackery from its initial percentage, which was about 50%, up to a full 100%. And at that point, all the input power from the solar turned off because the power pack was at max. So then I tried, boiling a kettle to use up some of that juice, and that worked. Maybe dropped the Jackery a little bit, but it was soon topped up again. So there was 2 options here. I could either reduce the number of solar panels because it's just so hot, or we could have increased the load. I tried various things, and in the end I got another power pack and was able to charge that with 2 of the panels, and then put 2 back onto the 2000 Pro. And that still had too much power. It was generating about 300 watts and it still stayed at 100%. In the end, I dropped down to 1 solar panel, and in this sunlight, that was about enough to keep it level and have 2 home offices working. All I can say is it's been a very successful experiment. You can run your home offices if you've got the sunshine. Today has been exceptional. UK is not normally blue skies like this. When the clouds come over, power did drop. And so on 1 solar panel, I did drop from 100% down to 94% with the 2000 Pro, because when the clouds are over, it maybe generates 75 watts, 100 watts, but I was drawing with the 2 offices there, 130 watts. So I was drawing a little bit more than I was generating when it was cloudy. So the capacity dropped from 100% down to 94%. But that was over 2 or 3 hours. The way to remedy that is probably to do a bit more reorientation or maybe go up to the 2 solar panels again, because that gave plenty. I really like running the extension cable up, so that way the power stations can just be left outside to charge, but then you can use the electricity wherever you want in the house using the extension cable. In my experiment last time, I would stop charging and just put the power pack upstairs with my home office. That is not the way to do it, guys. I think this is the way. Have the power station with the panels and then run an extension cable to where you want the power. That way you can use power and add power with the panels at the same time. Now, ideally to do that, you want lithium iron phosphate batteries, I think, because then you're charging and discharging at the same time. And you need that extended, life cycle of the lithium iron phosphate. The Jackery 2000 Pro hasn't got lithium iron phosphate, it's the older NMC batteries. So I wouldn't recommend you do this approach long term with that power pack, but once in a while, I think it works. In the UK, we don't get days like this very often, but my philosophy is if you've got a power station and panels, you'd be mad not to use the power of the sun when it's available. And of course, the more panels you have, the more amount of cloud you can have to still get the same power. The second power pack I looked at, the Jackery 1000 Plus, that does have lithium iron phosphate batteries. And that was at 28%. With 2 panels, that's fully charged now after a few hours. And, so that was getting about 300 watts. That's 1,000 watt hours, I think. So yeah, that makes sense. A couple of hours to get 600 watt hours and to fully charge it. So that's at 100% as well. So both power packs are at 100% from this amazing day of sun in the UK. So as I say, fantastic. If you're interested in any of this equipment, please check the description below. I've got links. They are affiliate links. We earn a small commission if you choose to buy through them, but it adds no cost to your price that you pay at the checkout, and it just helps support our channel here. It costs a lot of money to get some of this equipment, to review it for you guys. I hope it has been of use. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate all our subscribers and all our viewers of our videos. Anyway, I hope that was of some use. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Bye for now.